Thousands have been killed, millions displaced, and the world's worst hunger crisis is looming. This is the situation in Sudan, where the armed forces are battling the RSF militia. Yesterday, the US envoy to the UN called on the international community to stop arming the rival sides. Well, for more on that, we're joined by journalist Naba Mohieddin. She's over in Port Sudan. Thanks for being with us, Naba. Naba, first of all, tell us about the risks, the very real risk of a famine in Sudan. The World Food Programme says 90% of people are now facing emergency levels of hunger.
Actually, yes. So the figures right now are 25 million people in Sudan are facing hunger crisis, and the most affected areas are the areas with war zone, which is Khartoum, the capital, Al Jazeera state, and Darfur states and Kordofan states. So the risk of hunger crisis is almost it's covering almost 80% of the population of 44 million people population. 25 million are in risk of hunger crisis. 5 million are in acute food insecurity levels. So the situation is really dire, and the escalation of the fighting on the ground is making it impossible for aid workers and agencies to even deliver the aid that provided by some countries. So hunger crisis, there is a lot of reasons behind it, but right now the most participating reason is the fighting itself and the escalation and the unsafe humanitarian corridors for aid agencies, and especially for WFP. And
we heard from the US envoy to the UN yesterday about how many countries are involved in this war. I mean, there are even reports of Ukrainian troops on the ground in Sudan. Why are so many countries involved?
Actually, yes, there is some reports by some magazines and by some countries that many foreign countries are involving in this war, including Russia, represented in Wagner Group. They have been accused of training the RSF paramilitary militia since 2019 and helping them in the war, especially in Khartoum and in Darfur region through CAR. So yes, there is also accusations for Ukraine to be involved and allying the Sudanese military, and some Arab or regional players are also fueling this war. The reasons behind that, there are some geopolitical reasons, especially the Red Sea coast and the security of the Red Sea. We saw that Iran tried to win a deal in the Red Sea coast, but Sudan rejected it last week. Some Arab countries want also the Red Sea coast to be secured as a footstep for Africa. So yes, there is many actors and players in the war in Sudan supporting the paramilitary militia or the military itself. So yeah, the situation right now is controlled, and it's not proxy war, but if it's escalated and if it's not resolved very soon, we may see proxy war of some Middle East countries and Western countries taking Sudan as a battleground for their own purposes and agendas.
Naba, thank you very much. Naba Mohieddin there in Port Sudan.